Hey goddesses, can we just get down and dirty about the energy right now? In my last video, I was talking about how I finally was like, releasing this karmic pattern of, because of my love for collaboration, working with people, and then, like people stealing ideas and all of that. But the last few weeks with this lunar eclipse that we just had, being in the sign of Virgo, I feel like, I don't know if you've been experiencing the same thing, but I've been really digging deep into my internal space, cleaning house internally, emotionally, psychically, mentally, not just physically. And but there's a transition coming right now, which I'm really excited about, and I hope that you guys are feeling it too, because we have the next eclipse coming on the 21st, and it's also right after that we have the equinox, and we move into the new sign of Libra. And it's so fascinating because that's actually sort of the energy that I've been feeling in my own life. I did this deep introspective journey thinking about like, what do I need to clean up? What do I need to get rid of inside of myself? What are the things that are making me choose things, relationships, collaborations, partnerships that are not good for me or serving my dream, my purpose? And it's interesting now because as we move into Libra, the sign of justice, and also it's like we're transitioning into the external. So we've had this time right now where I think a lot of us, at least those of you who I've been lucky enough to be talking to regularly, we've been really doing some deep dives and like, okay, like I'm releasing this, I'm not doing this anymore, I got rid of that, I cleaned house, now I'm with myself and I'm refining down what my true vision is. And for me, like in the spirit of that whole thing, I was sitting thinking like, I went through a major horrific destruction. And it's so interesting because it was in embracing that destruction, allowing Persephone to go down into the depths of the underworld, facing it head on, not to glorify it in any kind of way, but this is part of the journey, this is part of the path. And I know a lot of people, they stay unconscious and they just resist and they resist, and then they never are able to accept that darkness, that shadow, and transmute it into something new. And I struggled with that for a long time. There's no kind of judgment there whatsoever. But there's something about a shift. There's a shift that's happening now where I feel like we are, like Persephone is coming back up. She's coming back up to the surface. She's transmuted all of that stuff. And now with the equinox and moving into the sign of Libra, it's like, for me, the vision that I got, and this is, just my personal journey, I realized, I was thinking, what is it like after this destruction? I've been focused on the physical, root chakra, security, building my safe space back up. It's taken years. And now is the time, I feel like, to kind of move back out. And like I said, I'm going to start creating content and all of that. And then I was really thinking, legacy, not in terms of the other, but in terms of your own authentic presence, your own personal vision, love, joy, like what is valuable to you, and what did I come here to do? What is the point, like regardless of everyone else? And, yes, for me, creating this content and creating community, but that's part of the root chakra. That's part of the beautiful house of connection. That's part of, creating the village. But what is what is, like this little beautiful seedling that's growing out of the earth, what is it that it's blossoming into? And for me, I realized that the happiest I ever was, I spent my whole life on stage, performing, dancing, singing, all these different things. And then I felt deflated at the end of it, because I always, I came to the conclusion that it's like this whole time I've been a vehicle for somebody else's message, which was beautiful, and I loved that. But I was a vehicle to express somebody else's dreams, somebody else's vision. And from that, I learned so much and met the most amazing people and had the most amazing experiences. But the happiest I ever was when I was in Mexico, and I, started the Gypsy Caravan, and I had my dancers and I had my band, and I put on a show that was incorporating, in this holistic way that I love, this Renaissance kind of way. All aspects. It was collaborative, it was well-rounded, community-focused, community-driven, music, dance, theater, all of it. And when that was destroyed by, let's say, external forces, when that was deliberately destroyed, and it was a real grief, it was a real loss, and it took me a while to kind of realize that creative process, that fire, that is when I felt most alive. So in spirit of that, I'm saying this to you because I feel like it's important to get out of my head. It's important to get out of my channel where I'm just communicating with the divine, communicating with my own internal landscape. I think it's important to put it out there, to share it, to verbalize it, and because then you're held accountable. Then you're held accountable to actually take action. And so in the spirit of this transformation from the internal world into the external, making connections and starting to take your own voice and taking that leap of faith and just going out there, I'm going to be starting a series of salons here in Vienna. Just a small select group of people, women, where we will share our stories and we will begin to create. And I'm very excited to see where it's going to go. And some of you know, I've been working on my own opera for many years now, actually. I have so much music, I have so much vision, so much choreography, and I am ready to reach out to collaborate and allow that organically to grow into being. And I think it's perfectly timed with the eclipse and the equinox that's coming up on the 21st and the 22nd. And so here we go. I want you to hold me accountable. It's going to happen. I'm going to do it. And pre-shuffle, we've got speed. So movement, the next card, motion, air. Next card, north, expansion. So this is like amazing energy. And I think we're on the same, of course, we're all on the same timeline. We've got understanding, looking at both sides. And I think of that sort of like, look at the past. It's part of the future. But don't choose one or don't stay stuck, in one or the other. They're both incredibly valuable, and the past feeds the future. Freedom, breaking the chains. Has your past become a chain? Whether it's internal fears of, things that have repeated, that have happened, that get us into these cycles of doubt, or maybe I missed the boat, or, this always happened in the past, so it's probably going to happen again. No, this is information that we have taken and we have transformed and we have grown. We always carry that with us. Like, transformation is not a clean break. Yes, we need to clean house, but we need to sewing together what follows through. We need to sew the past into the future, like the goddess Ishel wove the world into being. And the last card, Mind Garden. And that's so beautiful. That's so beautiful. Let's take all of this exploratory, creative, internal work that we've been doing, the thinking, the digesting, like plants, you know, they recycle things. They recycle the destruction, and they transmute it into beautiful, blossoming new creations, flowers, gardens. Allow your mind garden to bloom, and take your friends with you.